Here's another video, folks. This is by from redirecting. I'm just gonna play the video that she's gonna show. He says here, white teen talks about not wanting to give it up to white privilege. This will explain white privilege. This is how they feel. This is how some white people feel about white privilege, and this is what the advantage they have. And this guy explains, he comes out with the truth. None of them will say this. They won't say none of this. But this guy just spills the truth. I mean, they'll know, they just lie about it and say that. Some they don't believe that they do have privilege. They actually don't believe it. They're delusional. But this guy comes out, he understands, this kid understands. It's amazing. So, and he said he doesn't want to give it up. So he's being honest. But some do understand it, but they know the truth, but they're lying. They don't wanna give up their privilege. And it's okay, they understand. And some they're guilty, they understand this, they want to change it. Some want to change the system, maybe. And then some don't. They want to keep their privilege. But this is how some white folks feel about privilege, I guess. And this is coming from a kid. So let's play this.
Dear women, I'm sorry. Dear black people, I'm sorry. Dear Asian Americans, dear Native Americans, dear immigrants who come here seeking a better life, I'm sorry. Dear everyone who isn't a middle or upper class white boy, I'm sorry. I have started life at the top of a ladder where you were born on the first rung.
That's a funny upper class white boy. I love that.
Now that I would change places with you in an instant, but if given the opportunity, would I? Probably not. Because to be honest, being privileged is awesome. I'm not saying that you and me on different rungs of the ladder is how I want it to stay. I'm not saying that any part of me has for a moment even liked it that way. I'm just saying that I fucking love being privileged and I'm not ready to give that away. I love it because I can say fucking and not one of you is attributing that to the fact that everyone with my skin color has a dirty mouth. I love it because I don't have to spend an hour every morning putting on makeup to meet other people's standards. I love it because I can worry about what kind of food is on my plate instead of whether or not there will be food on my plate. I love it because when I see a police officer, I see someone who's on my side.
Great point, folks. See that? That's a great point. I forgot about that. The policeman's on his side. Look what happened to the Miami football players. Recently been handcuffed. See? One example there. Non-white privilege. But look what they did it to a golfer. This other guy. But it mostly happens to white people. Even the football players, millionaires. Being handcuffed. Oh my god.
To be honest, I'm scared of what it would be like if I wasn't on the top rung, if the tables were turned and I didn't have my white boy privilege safety blanket to protect me. If I lived a life lived by what I lacked, not what I had, if I lived a life in which when I failed, the world would say, told you so. If I lived the life that you live. When I was born, I had a success story already written for me. You were given a pen and no paper. I've always felt that that's unfair, but I've never dared to speak up because I've been too scared.
That's a great point. That's a great analogy. The African American in the U.S. He's given a pen. He's given aspiration. And a success story. When he's born, and the African American is like they have, or the Black American, It's like they've given it no pen or paper. Huh. It's kind of an analogy there. It's kind of an analogy. To what America, or even, some of these Western countries too, not just America.
Well, now I realize that there's enough blankie to be shared. Everyone should have the privileges I have. In fact, they should be rights instead. Everyone's story should be written, so all they have to do is get it read. Enough said. No, not enough said. It is embarrassing that we still live in a world in which we judge another person's character by the size of their paycheck, the color of their skin, or the type of chromosomes they have. It is embarrassing that we tell our kids that it is not their personality, but instead those same chromosomes that get to dictate what color clothes they wear and how short they must cut their hair. But most of all, it is embarrassing that we deny this, that we claim to live in an equal country in an equal world. We say that women can vote. Well, guess what? They can run a country, own a company, and throw a nasty curveball as well. We just don't give them the chance to. I know it wasn't us 8th grade white boys who created this system.
8th grade white boys. I love that.
But we profit from it every day. We don't notice these privileges though because they don't come in the form of things we gain, but rather the lack of injustices that we endure. Because of my gender, I can watch any sport on TV and feel like that could be me one day. Because of my race, I can eat in a fancy restaurant without the waitstaff expecting me to steal the silverware, thanks to my parents.
A great point. That's another great point, folks. That's another great point.
Salary, I go to school that brings my dreams closer instead of pushing them away. Dear white boys, I'm not sorry. I don't care if you think the feminists are taking over the world, but the Black Lives Matter movement has gotten a little too strong because that's bullshit. I get that change can be scary, but equality shouldn't be. Hey, white boys, it's time to act like a woman, to be strong and make a difference. It's time to let go of that fear. It's time to take that ladder and turn it into a bridge.
Great point. That's a great point. Ladder, and that's a bridge. That's a great point, folks. Seems that lately they're taking up the ladder, and they're bringing no bridge lately. But the way it's going now, folks, all this xenophobia and all this divisiveness, and you see that the debates. And Trump got destroyed last night. But that's another thing, folks. That's another thing. And then Kamala. But anyways, folks, he just dropped the mic on that, folks. And what's he saying? And that's a white privilege. Yeah, that's a great speech. That's kind of a speech. Yeah, that's a speech, I guess. So that's great. And he said a mouthful. And that's what he said. That is true, folks. But a lot of them deny the fact. And did not deny reality. Anyways, folks, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm getting tired. Been busy lately at work, but I'll be out of here, folks. What do you think of this video? I'm out, folks.